There we go. Right, so I want to talk about the horror of knowing and how atmosphere is better than jump scares. But with different games as examples. Yeah, so the games that I'm going to use, I hope this works. It did. Yeah, I want to talk about Gone Home and Inside. So let's forge on. Gone Home actually uses the familiar. It uses something called the uncanny, which I'm sure you're all aware of. You're aware of the uncanny valley, probably, but if you're not, it's when a human-looking thing, like a robot, is kind of fine. It looks a bit too much like a human, and our brains freak the fuck out and go, that's almost human, but not quite. I'm scared of it because of that, like pattern recognition. But in German, and sort of the first time this phrase is coined was by Freud, and it's the unheimlich, which roughly translates as the unhomelike. So you see that from the uncanny valley, you think there's something familiar, it is not, your brain freaks out. So it takes what we know and makes it creepy. So as you can see here, you've got your classic kind of horror game thing, but also you've got something, the setup is very familiar to us. It's about being alone at night in your family home. Now the home is new to the protagonist, so that you can find your way around, but effectively it's trying to evoke that feeling when you get up late at night when you're a kid, and you look down the stairs, and there might be a ghost down there, because it's spooky. It's also got this kind of stuff. So that's kind of the setup of the game, is it tries to take these things that would normally seem mundane, but become very, very scary in certain situations and fill you with dread. It also takes the tropes. Other thing it's trying to, it's not trying to ape it, but it's trying to play off of the format of horror games. There's the mansion, there's the note, there's the absent people, there's the storm, there's a dark past, there's maybe spooky stuff going on, you don't know. It's got all of the tropes that horror games use, like Amnesia or Outlast or any of that kind of stuff. And it uses it to try and play off of you and create this sense of dread in the player. And you see things like this. Trying to keep this vaguely spoiler-free, kind of light. Who's not played Gone Home? Do you mind being spoiled? Shout no if you don't want to be spoiled. Fine. Alright, you look at this thing and you're like, shit, there's blood in the bath! Because you're expecting a scary thing to happen. You're in a stormy house and you're on your own, it's all spooky, and there's maybe a basement, and maybe the previous owner was a murderer. So you walk in here and you're like, fuck! Blood everywhere! There's been a murder! And then you look to the side of the bath and there's a load of red hair dye. And you feel like a bit of a fool. But what it does is it takes our expectations and inverts them, which is cool, and inverts them again. So you're kind of on edge at this point, like this is a horror game, this is going to be spooky. You find this and you go, they're just playing with me. And then you go down to the basement, you pick up a cross, and the light bulb that is above you blows out all of a sudden. Puts a fucking jump scare in. And you're like, shit, it's a horror game again! But it's not. It's actually an entirely mundane story, and all of the scary things have completely mundane things. Your parents are going to get marriage counselling, that's why they're not in the house, and your sisters run away to find the love of their life. It's very sweet. But because of this, because it reminds you of things that you could actually experience, and you don't have robots and monsters and horrible things. This is all incredibly relatable, and big spoilers, but you said it's all about whether your sister has done something very silly in the attic. I don't really want to go into that because trigger warnings, etc. But going up into that attic to see if one of three things has happened, and three things that are very real and very relatable and things that can happen to people, was one of the most dread-filled experiences that I've had in gaming. And I was sitting down with my girlfriend playing this through, and we were both like, shit, really hope what I think is up there isn't up there. And ultimately it's fine. But because it's taken the things that you can relate to and twisted them and turned them into the scary stuff, that your head will do all the time. You look down the stairs and maybe there's a ghost down there, and ghosts aren't real, but maybe they are. It's that kind of thing, like maybe the things we fear most actually exist. And that's why it's a very effective horror game. The next game I was talking about. No? Yes, brilliant. Inside. It does it a different way. So, Gone Home kind of plays off what the things we kind of know happen, but then doesn't really show them up to us. Inside explicitly shows us them and takes them and says, "Are you scared of this? Look at it! No, it's really scary!" But it doesn't tell you, it doesn't do that thing where it kind of hides the monster from you. It's like, here's the monster, off you go. And it means that the player has knowledge, perfect knowledge of how any situation is likely to end, without that kind of like, oh, what happens? So I spoke to one of the, what's next? Oh, okay, cool. Yes, here, I've got an embedded video in Google Slides. Is it going to work?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe it will. Where's, there, the other way. Okay, so this kind of shit happens. Yeah. I just died. I'm going to show it again. Just quickly. I turned the thing on, that's good. Oh no. So I just got zapped by a horrible barbed wire thing. Which, although it's ridiculous, a big robot shot it at me, is something you can imagine happening to you. Kind of climbing over a fence or something, you slip, you fall, you get impaled, it's all very nasty. So the ways that you kind of die in this game are telegraphed to you and are things that could reasonably happen to you if you ignore the setup. So there's this little chap down here who, when you run forward, is like twitching on the floor. That's good game design, that's kind of showing you, tutorializing what might happen, trying to show you that. But also it says, this is the thing you are scared of. There's no mystery. This is what you have to be scared of. It's getting shot and electrocuted by a big spotlight robot thing. Turret. Oh, no, it won't. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, cool. Yes, so I spoke to one of the designers of Limbo and Inside, Pete Bucart, and asked him a couple of things. So I'm cherry picking from what he sent to me to make it specific, but yeah. So on Limbo, at this point we started embracing making the player uncomfortable, not deeply, but just make them feel insecure in the environment. That's talking about the deaths that they used in Limbo. And likewise in Inside, if you know that your body will crumble falling 10 plus meters when it suddenly feels more nerve-wracking to cross a tiny wooden plank between two buildings, by showing you what you're supposed to be scared of, you know the likely outcome of what you're doing. And that's really bad. It's always really bad. You are made to feel vulnerable, you are made to feel insecure, you are made to feel powerless, which is ultimately where a lot of fear comes from, a lot of horror. You are made to feel incredibly human. So let's see what's next. Yeah, so this is on the monsters. So quite early on in the game, you learn that you can wear a special hat. And when you wear the special hat, there are mindless zombie type things which will do your bidding. And then it says, okay, these things are pretty horrible, aren't they? Well, now they're your homies. Go walk around with them, they'll help you in puzzles. Do you find them creepy? Good. Because you're going to be using them quite a lot. With this one, I would say it's worth playing, I recommend it. So I'm not going to spoil kind of the end, but thematically this kind of shit is going on. Maybe you're the monster all along, it's pretty cool. So this is it, yeah. There he is, that's Pete. I also asked him what his favourite colour was, and he said that this picture would show me what it was. So obviously, his favourite colour is the Hulk. So, why am I talking about this? Yes, so I am what is technically known as a wuss boy, which is a boy who is a wuss, and I cannot play horror games for shit. And it's because I'm really bad at jump scares. Like, I'm terrible at them. I probably look like you in that video, kind of. Is it you, like? Oh.
I was going, and running away.
Oh, okay. And Colin was doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So I do that a lot, and I played Amnesia, and I was in a brightly lit room with two people with me, and I was in a cold sweat. And it was fucking horrible! Right, until I did this. I just walked up to the monster. Look at this goofy motherfucker! Look at him! What are those? What's going on here? I'm assuming it's a man, but they chopped his knob off. Spooky. But the point is that jump scares really rely on not knowing anything. So as soon as you go, fuck it, it's a video game. I'm going to stand here until I die, and then I'm going to respawn. So the thing about Gone Home is that you can't die in it. There is no threat. You just walk through, and things happen at you. But because you kind of know the feelings that the game is trying to evoke from you. Not that I'm being chased by a goofy monster, but I'm at home alone, and my parents are missing, and my sister's missing, and what has happened to them. That's going to be dreadful. That's always going to be dreadful to somebody. You can't get around that by treating it like a game. With Inside, it shows you what happens when you die. Another thing that Pete said was that they made the Inside boys kind of physics a bit more real. He ragdolls a bit more real. And that means when you fall, like you were saying with that 10-foot drop, that's horrible. You see a little boy and he goes, and it's just like, kind of triggers that empathetic thing, where if you're in a horror movie, you see someone's leg get chopped off, you're like, ooh, my knee's gone funny. This, you go, ah! And then it's done, and then you've got this thing. And then graphics happen, and it becomes a game, and the smoke and mirrors fall down, and you're like, oh, I'm on my computer in my pants. Yeah, I'll leave you with that image. Thank you, I'm done.